Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this file and told me how they did it, and want to know if there's an easier way instead of going in there and filling in each one of these. And if I understand him right, he took a polygon, six-sided, hold down the control button, and then hit P. Now, you don't probably have to, but we're going to get rid of these extra nodes. We only want the nodes on the edges. Now what you want to do is Control D and make a duplicate, and then move the center rotation of that edge. And we're going to rotate it 10 degrees. Now you have to probably do this to get that inner shape. But once you get right here, you don't have to go anymore, but we have to keep going so we can put this in the center of the page. And I've actually made it way too big, so I'm going to group it, holding down the shift key so it'll grow in. And then I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page. That's probably the most important thing you do. Now, what he was having to do is taking interactive fill tool and going 1, 2, 3, and just filling them around. Well, you don't have to do that. We're going to take this shape now and move it out of the way. And we're going to take this shape and Control D and just move it 10 degrees. Control D all the way around. So you get the same effect, except for you're letting Corel fill it in. Now, if I understand what he did, he left click, right click, and then he grouped these together, Control G, Control D to duplicate it. He moved it in, and then he rotated it 5 degrees. And that gave him that shape. Now, if you see, it's a little bit off because we went smaller, but I think he actually said that. Now, instead of doing it all again and filling everything in, and he used the interactive fill tool, and he actually trimmed the circle away, which is pretty smart. So, but you don't have to do the whole thing. So we're actually going to fill that in with black, that in with black, that in with black. Now we're going to take the first one. And you could have used the blue. I should have used the blue interactive fill tool. And let me zoom in here. And when we do that, I'm going to go over here to the ellipse and put that in the center. I'm going to have to look at his. He put light blue in the center. So we're going to grab the interactive fill tool again, go over and grab Corel's RGB. I think it's the same color he's using. And now you get that, and you could spread that out and do whatever you want to with it. Now with this one, I'm going to go ahead and make them both blue, because I think that way maybe that attribute eyedropper will work. I'm going to get the interactive fill tool, and I'm going to pick that one right there. And I'm going to have to look at his again. And that's all he did, is just lighter up top. And that's pretty good. So now what we can do, instead of trying to duplicate that and make them the same, we can get the attribute eyedropper and take a sample there and do that right there. Now, I should have grouped these together, but I didn't. So I'm going to just try to grab those and move it out of the way, and it worked. So I'm going to group this now, and I'm not going to destroy it. I'm going to put it back. Now we've got everything. So you don't have to fill all those in. Control G to group, Control D to duplicate, and move the center rotation to there. I don't think it's there. It needs to be right on that point. Yep, it's there. And then we can rotate, Control D to make a duplicate and rotate it that 10 degrees. And by doing this, he doesn't have to fill them in. Now, he actually told me the reason he took the circle out, he didn't like the inside being so dense. So Control G to group, and let's hit P to put it in the center page, which it is. Let's take an ellipse and hit P. And because you can see that on the outside, we're going to select them all. And I never use the trim tool, but there's the trim tool. And then I would take away the red of that circle. Ooh, I took away all of it. So I need to click on that circle and right click, no outline. Now his is a little darker than mine, but it's the same effect. I think I like his better, but that's just because he interactive fill tooled more. Now this would be a, since this wasn't such a difficult video, let's show how we could really change this. And when you get about right here, you get tired of backing up. If you will take your pick tool and hold down your Alt key and then hit delete anything that was in that Alt key, we might have to do this in 2 steps. I don't want to get rid of that other one. But anything the Alt key and the pick tool touch, it does that right there. Now, creating a clone of this is a little more difficult because we have 3 different parts. But let's see if we can't get it to work. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go edit and clone. We're going to nudge one out of the way. You know what? That's too far. Let's set our nudge factor on like 5 inches. Then we're going to grab that piece. We're going to go edit and clone, and we're going to nudge it out of the way. We're going to go here, edit and clone and move it over. Get the right one, edit and clone and move it over. Now, this is our clone curve. This is our control curve. So we want to move it out of the way. And I'm going to group these together for a second and then move it back. Now I'm going to Control D to duplicate it and move the center rotation of that. And this would be a very good one to use the rotation docker. But we're just going to go Control D, 10%, Control D all the way around. Now we have to ungroup everything for this to work. And I'm going to grab this control curve and watch what we can do now. Let's take the left side and get the interactive fill tool and completely change it. Look at that. And that's just the one side. So let's do one side darker like that, and you could actually come off the edge. Doesn't really matter in this because it's so cylindrical. Now we'll grab the other side. Let's put a little maybe blue up in that corner and watch what happens to all of them. And then you could always change. But just remember when you're doing this, you have to unlock the clone. Let's put a little red in the center. And look at that. Now that's not as pretty. But you could spread this out and make it less. Then what we learned, or I learned a couple of videos ago, take all this, once you're happy, go up to object and break the 17 objects apart. Then you can get rid of your clone and get off your page. Now you have to group this together to put that circle and make it basically disappear. Well, I'm gonna leave it big. So I'm gonna go up here and trim. Whoop, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Let's move the circle out of the way. Huh, maybe it doesn't work on that. Well, we got it all grouped together. Maybe it's just too many objects, I don't know. I moved both of them out of the center of the page. Let's do it one more time and see if the trim, that's a little weird. But we could have done that regardless. Let's back up here. We could have done that when we had our clone. Let me make sure these are still apart. I don't know if this will work or not. Let's just try. Well, let's try a circle and put it like right here. I'm actually too close to my object. Nope, it didn't work. Anyway, so maybe it's the clone tool that won't allow us to do that. But that's pretty cool. where you can see that live and see what you're going to do. Anyway, that's more than he was asking, but I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.